Animal Science Files, the Velociraptor, facts and information about them. So let's get started into this. The Animal Science Files series. So let's get started. Velociraptor, meaning swift Caesar in Latin, is a genus of Detrevzoid theropod dinosaur that lived approximately between 75 to 71 million years ago during the later part of the Cretaceous period. Two species are currently recognized in the species, although others have been assigned in the past. The type species is the V. mongolosoisis. Fossils of this species have been discovered in Mongolia. A second species, V. oskamasi, was named in 2008 for skull material from Inner Mongolia and China. Smaller and other demistroids like Dinosaurus and Alcabator Velociraptor nevertheless showed many of the same anatomical anatomy features. It was bipedal, feathered carnivore with a long tail and a large sickle-shaped claw on each hind foot, which is thought to have been used to tackle and disembowel prey. Velociraptor can be distinguished from other Dilophosaurids by its long and low skull with an upturned snout. Velociraptor is one of the dinosaurs most familiar to the general public in history due to its prominent role in the movie and then the series Jurassic Park motion picture series. In real life, however, Velociraptor was roughly the size of a turkey, a modern-day turkey, with adults measuring up to 6 feet long and weighing up to 33 pounds, although there had been an estimate higher at 40 pounds. The jaws were lined with 26 to 28 widely spaced teeth on each side, each more strongly serrated on the back edge than the front. They had serrated teeth in some parts, and had a large manus hand with 3 strongly curved claws, which were similar in construction and in flexibility to the wing bones of modern-day birds. The second digit was the longest of the 3 digits present, while the first one was the shortest. The first digit of the foot was in other theropods and was a small dew claw. The large claw, which can grow to over 2.5 inches long, was most likely a predatory device used to tear into or restrain struggling prey. In 2007, paleontologists reported the discovery of quill knobs on a well-preserved Velociraptor forearm from Mongolia, confirming the presence of feathers in this species. Fossils of them were more primitive than Velociraptor are known to have feathers covering their bodies and fully developed feathered wings. In fact, that the ancestors of Velociraptor were feathered and possibly capable of flight had long been suggested and argued and debated by paleontologists. That Velociraptor bore feathers as well, since even flightless birds today restrain most of their feathers. The more we learn about these animals, the Velociraptor, the more we find that there is basically no difference between them and birds or their closely related dinosaur ancestors like the Velociraptor. Both have wishbones, broadened their nests, possess hollow bones, and were covered in feathers. If animals like the Velociraptor were alive today, our first reaction and impression would be they're just very unusual looking birds with a different head. Velociraptor may have been nocturnal, although this is debated. Velociraptor may have had its sickle claw to pierce vital organs of the throat, much like the jugular vein, carotid artery, or the trachea windpipe. Rather than slashing the abdomen, the inside edge of the claw was rounded and not unusually sharp, which may have precluded the sort of cutting or slashing action. Though the bory core of the claw is preserved, the thick abdominal wall, skin, and muscle of large prey species would have been difficult to slash without a perceived cutting surface. The slashing hypothesis was tested during a 2005 BBC documentary, The Truth About Killer Dinosaurs. The producers of the program created an artificial Velociraptor leg with a sickle claw and used a pig's belly stomach to stimulate the dinosaur's prey. Though the sickle claw did penetrate the abdominal wall, it was unable to tear it completely open, indicating the claw was not used to disembowel prey. Velociraptor was warm-blooded to some degree, as it required a significant amount of energy to hunt. Modern animals that possess feathers or furry coats, like the Velociraptor, tend to be warm-blooded since most of those coverings function as insulation. However, bone growth rates in Dimeroids and some early birds suggest a more moderate metabolism compared with modern warm-blooded mammals and birds. They probably ate stuff between like reptiles, smaller reptiles, amphibians, insects, small dinosaurs, and mammals. During the American Museum of Natural History expedition to the outer Mongolian desert on August 11, 1923, Peter Cowson recovered the first Velociraptor fossil known to science, a crushed but complete skull associated with one of the raptor's second toe claws. Well, North American teams were shut off of Communist Mongolia during the Cold War. Expeditions of Soviet and Polish scientists, in collaboration with Mongolian colleagues, recovered several more specimens of velociraptors. The most famous is part of the famous fighting dinosaur specimen discovered by Polish-Mongolian team in 1971. This fossil preserves a velociraptor in a battle against a Triceratops. This specimen is considered a national treasure of Mongolia, and in 2000 it was loaned to the American Museum of Natural History in New York City for a temporary exhibition. Between 1988 and 1990, a joint Chinese-Canadian team discovered velociraptor remains in northern China as well. To date, all of the dozen or so identified velociraptor specimens they've been thought of only solitary species and no evidence of them being in groups hunting. The most famous fossil of the velociraptor shows it in combat with Triceratops, dramatic evidence that has been found of two dinosaurs fighting. Why the velociraptor is fighting the Triceratops is unknown, although starvation and food, will take any animal to try to take down even what's bigger than them, so that could be why it was fighting the Triceratops. They are probably a bit smarter than rabbits, but not as smart as, obviously, cats and dogs, but who knows, because they're not around anymore, so we don't know. So if you guys like this video, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Bye guys, see you next video.